Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and today I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report is on a really interesting 1911. This is the Kimber Polymer Pro Carry. It's a double stack 1911 chambered in 45, so I guess really it's a 2011 model. And it's a model that I wasn't even aware of in Kimber's catalog. I don't even know if they still make it. I've never even heard of a Polymer 1911 before at all. Now, before I start off, I want to say that Kimbers have always had a soft place in my heart. They were the first 1911s that I ever shot. A friend of mine about 20 years ago, he had a couple of Kimbers, and they were the first exposure I ever had to John Browning's masterpiece. So I'm really excited to get a chance to shoot this and take it to the range. Now, this particular gun is on loan once again from my very good friend Jack, who has lent me so many guns from his collection, and I am so thankful. Now, before I took it to the range, of course, I kind of gave it a once over and had some initial thoughts. Now, it has a polymer frame to it, which is different. And it feels different in the hand. It doesn't have the typical grip panels that you would normally find on a 1911. And all of the polymer is relatively thick. Of course, polymer is not as durable as steel. And that's one of the things about a 1911 I really like, is that it's an all-metal gun. When you hold a 1911, you know it's a firearm. You know, it's the old steel and wood. This is polymer, so it kind of blends the modern and the old. But because everything is so thick because of the polymer, you have a really thick trigger guard, so you don't really have a lot of room for your finger here, and the grip is really wide. It's even wider than your typical 2011 double stack 1911s chambered in 45. It's just a big, thick gun. Now, there is some metal in this frame. It's really more of a polymer overmolding over kind of a smaller steel frame. And another issue with this, if you notice here, the slide stop is kind of recessed into the gun, into the frame, because that polymer has to be so thick. And I actually found that was a little bit difficult to actuate because you can't really get your thumb on that slide stop, especially to push it up to lock open the gun. It's just weird, it's different. So I don't think that's necessarily a detriment to the gun, something maybe you'd have to get used to. I definitely don't like it, but these are just my initial impressions. So I'm now going to show you my first shots at the range and see if my initial impressions hold up. Alright, so my initial thoughts about this gun were right on. Maybe it's the fact that it's polymer, maybe the fact that it's kind of light, it has a thick grip, uncomfortable grip for me. It was not a pleasurable gun to shoot. It had a lot of recoil. It was kind of snappy. Now, I want you to know that I'm going to say a number of negative things about this firearm in this range report. So before we go on, I just want you to know you may own one of these. You may like one of these. You may be looking at buying one of these. Just because I don't like certain aspects of this firearm does not mean it is not the firearm for you. Now, I have a few trolls on my channel that always dislike every video that I make, because I'm sure at some point in the past I didn't like a gun that they really liked. It's okay, I guess I'm living rent-free in their head. But I just want to point out that although there are aspects of this firearm that I don't like, I'm going to tell you why I don't like them. And it might be a feature that you absolutely love. In fact, I have seen negative reviews on guns that made me go out and buy the gun because everything they said they didn't like about the gun, I absolutely loved. So, although it was a negative review, it was positive in my eyes. But anyway, let's get back to the range report here. So the gun is relatively snappy. It's not that comfortable to shoot. I had my hands kind of digging into each other, and also these magazines are extremely difficult to load. In the first video, you saw me load 13 or maybe it was 14 rounds into one of these magazines, and I needed the assistance of a mag loader. But when you're doing it by hand, and I'm pretty strong when it comes to loading magazines, I can only get about 11 in there. So I think for the most part, I'm only going to shoot 10 or 11 rounds in each one of the magazines from now on. The magazines are just too difficult to load. So I'm not sure why they made the springs so heavy. Maybe it needs to in these double stack magazines, I'm not sure. Something that is positive about the gun is I feel the trigger is actually really good. Of course, it's a 1911, and the trigger is not writing in polymer, it's still writing in that steel insert that I was telling you about. So internally, it's probably the same as most Kimber triggers. It's going to be pretty good. Well, I'm gonna keep shooting this thing and give it some more time, and maybe it will grow on me. So I'm gonna go for my next magazine here. I believe it's 10 rounds, 10 or 11 rounds. And another thing I wanna say is my grouping is not very good on this. Now, of course, I'm not the world's greatest shot, but I don't like these sights. I believe these are the XS big dot sights, or let's see what it says here. I don't know, I can't read that. Is it Trilux? Tritium? I don't know. They kind of look like the XS big sights, where you have the big dot in the front and you have a little channel in the back, but it's not the same as a 3-dot system. So I have always found that this type of a system, and I'll show it to you here. Hopefully I can get it close up and in focus. There they are right there. I've always had a difficult time with the elevation of the front sight with this type of pistol sight. So I'm not very accurate with it, and I don't like that. But of course, this is something that you can change out. I'm not sure if these are stock to this gun or not. Maybe a Kimber expert or Jack can tell us in the comments section below, but not a fan of these. But let's go see how I do on the second mag and if it changes my mind. Well, I'm still not happy with the group, and I still don't like the way the gun feels in my hand and the way that it shoots. I do think, though, that the two features about the gun that I still like the most would be the trigger and the flared magwell. They did incorporate a flared magwell into this polymer receiver. But I'll go ahead and show you what the trigger of this gun looks like. Of course, make sure the gun is clear. And of course, 1911s are known to have these awesome triggers. Get that into focus there. And so here is just the initial take up, nice solid wall. And then the reset is extremely short. You can hear it and you're right at the wall again. That is a really nice trigger. So the fact that you do have the flared magwell and that really nice trigger does make it tolerable for me. So I'm gonna try to put 2 mags through this in relatively quick succession and see how this magwell works. I know it's going to work great, but I just wanted to see how mag changes would be with this gun. Alright, so unfortunately, I'm just not enjoying this thing, and I'm not shooting it very well. And trust me, it's not that I'm not shooting the gun well that's making me not enjoy it. There are many guns that I don't shoot well that I really like. This is just one. It doesn't feel good in my hands, and I only got 5 rounds left. I brought a couple boxes of 45, but with the cost of ammo and not enjoying this gun at all, I'm not going to continue to put it through its paces. So I'm going to try to see how the groupings are at a little bit further out at 15 yards. I'm not even gonna bother showing you the target. Let me tell you, the grouping was horrible. I just don't shoot this gun well at all. I wrote down on my little notepad and script for this video that this gun is feature packed, but it is feature packed with a bunch of things I just don't like. I don't like the fact that it doesn't feel like a traditional 1911. It doesn't have the typical grip panels that you can change out. It's just a polymer frame. It has a really thick trigger guard, if I can get that in the focus. There it is, just really thick. It's very snappy. It's a double stack. I like single stack 1911s. I understand the advantage of the double stack, getting more rounds in there. I personally think that if you are looking for a carry gun that is chambered in 45 and you want as much capacity as possible, I would definitely look at the Glock 30 or the HK USP 45 compact. I think those are what this gun is trying to be, but be a 1911. And personally, I'd rather go with those other polymer guns than go with this thing. If I'm gonna own a 1911, I want an all steel or all metal 1911 personally. That's just the way that I feel. It's the aesthetics of the gun that I like, and they just shoot so much better. 1911s, especially if they're really well built and well tuned, are just phenomenal guns to shoot, and that's why they have the longevity that they do and are such impressive guns to so many people. And this gun, unfortunately to me, just doesn't have it. Another downside to this gun I do not like, and I've talked about this with other smaller compact 1911s, is that it does have the full-length recoil system, which I do like, or the recoil guide rod, but it requires that little special tool, typically like a paper clip that you would put into a little hole in here, and then that would allow you to disassemble. It doesn't use a traditional barrel bushing. I like the barrel bushings in the 1911s. This is too difficult to take apart, especially if you're in the field or at the range. You don't bring a paper clip with you and you need to disassemble your gun for whatever reason. Could be oiling, could be maintenance. You just can't do it. So this gun has a lot of cool features that I just don't like. Now, I will say, it ran great, so I did not have any function issues at all. The gun is well built. It's a Kimber. I don't think I would have any function issues with it anyway. It's a good gun. It's just definitely not for me. I don't enjoy it. I don't like the sights. I don't like the way that it feels. I don't shoot it very well. It's snappy. It's thick. If I wanted a gun in this size, I'd go with a Glock 30 or, as I said, the HK USP 45 compact. It's just a lot of what I don't like, all packed into probably a decent gun. So I'm not going to give this gun high marks. Now, as I said before, just because these features are not the ones for me doesn't mean it's not the ones for you. I am not trashing the gun. My rankings come from the perspective of what I like. So if you are a different person than I am, which of course you are, and you have different points about a gun that you find interesting and fascinating, or features of guns that you really like that I don't care for, this might be the gun for you. So don't go down in the comment section and go, oh my God, you trashed this gun. I'm not trashing the gun. I'm just reviewing the gun from my personal perspective and what I like. So with that said, on my little star system, how would I rank the Kimber Polymer Pro Carry? Well, I know Jack's going to be a little bit disappointed here. I'm only going to give it 2 out of 5 stars. It is not an enjoyable gun. It is very rare that I ever go to the range and not run out of ammo and go, I don't want to shoot that gun anymore. And that's what this gun did. But it ran great. It seems to be high quality. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would really like this 1911. It's just not for me. It's not enjoyable to shoot. I'm a terrible shot with it. I don't like the features. I don't like the frame. So I'm sorry, Jack. You do have a nice gun here. It's just not the one for me. So there you go. My range report on the Polymer Pro Carry by Kimber. 2 out of 5 stars. Another reason I would give it low marks is if you're going to go ahead and put a polymer frame on this thing, put a rail up here on the front so you can put a light or a laser depending on what you like to use. But there you go. That's my thoughts. You are free to disagree. And maybe a lot of my 1911 fanboys out there that follow the channel can tell me what they think if they've ever shot a polymer frame 1911, or if they've shot this model in particular, and what they think. And I would be interested in seeing if their opinions are the same as mine. So there you go, the Kimber Polymer Pro Carry 1911. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.